Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. And this is the 9th video of our WooCommerce Flutter Grocery app series. In this video, we will modify our application to handle variable products. Variable products are basically those products which are having a multiple variety. Just for example, if you can see in the screen, we have this product with a two variety. First one is of 500 gram and second one is 200 gram. If I click on the 500 gram, it will show the price according to that product variety. If I click on the 200 gram, you can see that the price will be changed on the basis of that attribute. So now if we add both the product in our cart, so you can see two different products in the cart. Let me show you in the cart. So here, if you see in the cart, you can see two products. First one is the product with the 500 gram and second one with the 200 gram. So accordingly, on the basis of that attribute, that will be added to our cart. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, I will show you that what is variable product, and I will go to our WooCommerce plugin, and there I will select that particular product, that is comment seed Jira, and here in the product data we are using here variable product, and then in the attributes we have added one attribute, that is G, that is stand for grams, and then we have a variations here. Inside the variation I have added two variation. First one is a 200 and second one is a 500. So now if I click on that variation first, and here you can see the price is different for both the variation. First price is regular price is 90, and then we have a sale price that is 71. In the same way, for the second variable we have the regular price of 220 and the sale price is 113. So now let's move to the Flutter application to do the modification. So now we will create one model file that is named as a variable product. I have already created a file. Let me explain you. So the name of the class is variable product. So there we have a variables, that is ID, and then we have a SKU, then we have a price, then we have a regular price, then we have a sale price, then we have a attributes here, and here we are doing the constructor part. Then we are doing the mapping here, whatever the JSON data we are getting from the server. First one is the ID, then we have a mapping with the SKU, then we are doing with the price, then we are doing with the regular price, then we have a sale price. Then the attribute we are checking here, if it is not null, then we are just looping through with that attribute class which we have created. This one in the attribute we have ID, name and option. The same we have did with the product also. Then we are just adding that attributes on the basis of the data we are getting from the server, and here we are doing that to JSON. Now we will add one variable inside our config.dart file, and here we have static string variable products URL is equal to the name of that URL is variations. So now we will add new method in our API service.dart file. So here we will create new method, future type of list variable product, and the name of the method is get variable products, and here we are passing the parameter that is int type of product ID. And then we have create one variable for the return type, list type of variable product, and response model. And then we are doing a try catch. Inside that we are doing string URL is equal to config.url plus config.product URL. Then we will have slash $, then we have a square bracket started, product ID to string, then we have a slash $, square bracket started, config.variable product URL. Then we have the same consumer key, consumer underscore key is equal to config.consumer key, config.key. Then we will have consumer secret, config.secret, and here we will have where response is equal to await do, and here we will put async do.get, and we are doing here get request, and here we will pass URL. Then we will have the options here, and the option we are passing here new options, and the header we are passing here HTTP header dot content type, and here we are passing application JSON. Then we are checking here response dot status code is 200. Then we will have response model is equal to response dot data as list dot map, and we are mapping it with variable product from JSON, and here we will pass variable name e. Then here we will write to list, then we will have on do error h e, and here we will print error message, and here we will return response dot model. So what we are doing here, we have created one method that is get variable products, and we are passing here product ID, that is a parent ID of that variable products. And then we have created a URL, and for the URL we are passing here config.url. Then we have the config.product URL. Then we have that slash product ID which we are passing here. Then we will have slash that variable product URL, that is variations. And then we have that query string for consumer key and consumer secret. And then on the basis of that status code of 200, we are just assigning that values and returning that list variable products by doing that mapping and all. And then we are returning here in the line number 272. So now we will modify our product detail page, and we will show that drop down on the basis of that. If the product type is variable, then we will show that drop down, else we will show that attributes. And here in the product detail page, and we will have API service, and here we will create one widget, and we will name it as a variable product list. And here we will have API service is equal to new API service. Then we will return here new feature builder. In the future we will type here API service dot get variable products, and here we will pass data dot this dot widget dot product dot ID. Then in the builder we will have build context async snapshot, and here we will pass list type of variable products, and here we will check model dot has data. Then we will return here product widget product detail widget, and here we will pass data. Inside the data we are passing here this dot widget dot product, and we will create one more variable there in the product detail widget, and here we will have list type of variable product variable products, and here we will pass this dot variable products. Now from here we will pass variable product, and here we will have model dot data, and here we will return center, and inside the center we have the child. Here we will have circular progress indicator. So this widget is ready. So now we will modify our product model class to include one variable, that is type, and here inside this we will write string type, and here we will pass type is equal to JSON type, and here we will check this dot widget dot product dot type is equal to variable. Then we will show here variable product list, else we will show that product detail widget. So inside the widget product detail I have created two widgets, and just to show that drop down and all, let me explain you. So these are the two widgets which I have created. This is for showing the drop down, and first one, the name is select drop down, and here we are passing the context, then we have initial value, then we have a data, then we have a on change event, then we have a on validate, and inside that we are using a align. Inside the align we are using a top left, then we have a child container here, and for the child container we are using here height of 75 and width we are using here 100. Then we are using here padding here. Then we are just calling here in the child, we are using the drop down button form field, and here we are the passing that variable product, that is the return type of that drop down. Then we are using a hint, and for the hint we are using a text of select. For the value we are using here null value. Then we have a on change event, and we are just passing that on change value in our that function or callback. Then in the item we are just checking here if data is not equal to null, then we are doing here mapping and all with data.map, and we are doing the mapping with the drop down menu item, and in the drop down menu item we are passing here variable product. Then here we are returning here drop down menu item, and for the value we are passing here data, this one. And in the child we have a text widget, and for that text widget we are showing here attribute first option. Then in that also we are showing that attributes first name also. In the style we are using here color black. Then we are doing here to list, and in the else condition we are passing items as a null. Then here for the decoration we have using field decoration, and that widget also I have created, and the return type is input decoration. And here we have a parameter of context, hint text, helper text, then we have a prefix icon, then we have a suffix icon. This widget we have already covered in our sign up page also, in that login page also. And here we are returning here input decoration with the content padding, hint text, then we have a helper text, then we have a prefix icon, then we have a suffix icon. Then we are doing here enable border, then we are doing here border with the outline input border. Now if you look into the application, we have that 1 kg which is mentioned below that product name, and this one we will replace with a drop down on the basis of if the product is variable product. For that we will do the code side by side. So now if I go to that variable product, so here we have to do some more modification in our product model class. So here we will check if this dot regular price is not equal to empty, then only we will call this logic. And here the discount we will make it outside that if condition, and we will initialize it with the 0 value. And here now if you can see in the screen that product is coming. So now if you can see on the screen, we are getting here product with that 200-500 gram. So here we will do some conditions here, and we will write some code of visibility widget. We will use a visibility widget, and we will write here visibility. Inside the child we are using here this widget, and for the visible variable we are using here data.type is not equal to variable, then only we will show here. Now you can see that attributes are not coming here. Instead of that attribute we will show here drop down, and here we will write visibility, and for the child we are using here select drop down, the widget which we have created, select drop down, and we will pass here context. Then the initial value we will pass here empty, then we will pass here this dot variable products, and here we will have the on change event, and we will have variable products. So here we have added 2 widgets, and first one is for the visibility of showing that attributes name on the basis of if the product type is not a variable products, and in the case of that variable product we will show that drop down, and here we will put the condition here if data type is equal to variable. Now if you see on the screen, we are getting here drop down, and here we are getting the value of 2 attribute which we have created in our WooCommerce, that is 500 gram, then we have it 200 gram. So right now the price is not coming because in the case of variable product we don't have the price in the sale price field, but we have the price in that price field. So here we will change it to price field. Now you can see the default price of that product, that is coming as a 71. So now here on the on change event, we will pass here this dot data dot price is equal to value dot price. So now what will happen if we change the attribute from the variables? So it will change the price according to that variant. Now you can see the price is coming on the basis of the 500 gram. If I change it to 200 gram, the price will come on the basis of that attribute only. So now we will update our PHP file for add to cart. For that you can see the changes which I have did PHP file. So if you see the line number 91 and 92, so line number 91, the right mark line is the previous line which we have added. So the 92 line which we have just modified it, and we have added that variation underscore ID in that parameter of add to cart function. And the same we are doing in the line number 100 also. Here also we are adding the variation ID. In the line number 132, we are just checking here if that variation ID is equal to 0. Then we are getting the product information of that product on the basis of the product ID only, and else we are just getting the product information on the basis of the variation ID only. And here in the line number 135, we are just passing the attributes here. The line number 139, we are getting the product name, and we have just changed it on the basis of that product ID here. In the line number 144, we are passing here attributes in our JSON array, and in line number 147, we are passing here variation ID also. In the line number 173 also, we are checking here if the variation ID is equal to 0, then we are getting the product information on the basis of the product ID, else we are getting the product information on the basis of the variation ID. Same here, we are just fetching the attributes also in the line number 176. In the line number 180 also, we are fetching the product name on the basis of the product ID only. In the line number 185, we are passing here attributes, then we are passing here line subtotal. So we are checking here, basis of null, we are passing here 0. Same for the we are doing for the variation ID also in the line number 186, 187, 188. So here you can see the updated JSON which we are getting in our cart API, and here we are what we are getting in the data. We are getting here product ID, and then we are getting here product name, then we are getting the regular price, then we are getting the sale price, thumbnail, quantity, and the new addition which we are getting here is attribute, that is G, and we are getting here 500 because this is the product of that first variant. And here we are getting the variation ID also, that is 76. So in the line number 37, you can see the product ID is 68, and the line number 23 also the product ID is 68. So these are both are the two same product but with a different variant. So here you can see that attribute we are getting here 200, and the variation ID we are getting here 75. So now we will modify our application to handle that cart functionality also with the variant product. Now we will modify our cart request model. Inside that cart product, we will add one new variable, that is int type of variation ID. And by default, we are passing the default value of 0 here. The constructor also we will include it. And here in the mapping also we will include variation ID is equal to JSON variation underscore ID. In the toJSON also we will include data, then we will have variation underscore ID is equal to this dot variation ID. So now we will modify our cart response model. So here we will include new variable, that is int type of variation ID. Then we will have string type of attribute. Then we will have string type of attribute value. The constructor also we will include this dot variation ID, this dot attribute, this dot attribute value, and here we will do the mapping here. Variation ID is equal to JSON variation underscore ID. And then we will have the attribute here. Attribute is equal to, we will check here, JSON attribute dot toString, and here we will check if the JSON attribute toString is not equal to empty type of JSON, Then we will do here mapping, map string dynamic from. Here we will pass JSON attribute, and here we will have dot key dot first dot toString. Else we will show empty. Same we will do for the attribute value also. Here also we will check if the attribute toString is not equal to empty type of JSON. Then we will pass here, instead of passing the keys, we will pass here values here. So here to JSON also we will include variation ID, variation underscore ID is equal to this dot variation ID. So now if you can see on the screen, there's no difference between the variable products and all. So for doing that, we have to do some modification of our widget for that cart list. So here we will go in the widget cart products, and here we will put some condition here. Data dot variation ID is equal to 0. Then we will show this product name. Else we will show here data dot product name space opening and closing of brackets, and then we will have data dot attribute value, and here we will have data dot attribute name. Now if you can see on the screen, we are getting here that product name. In the bracket we are getting here that variation ID, that attribute name for this variation, that is 500 gram. In the second product you can see here the variation of that 200 gram. So now we will do the modification of our provider class to implement that variation of that variable product in our add to cart. For that we have to do the modification of our cart provider class. So first of all we will do some modification here in the line number 45 also, and here we will check if that cart item is equal to null, and we will call here fetch cart items. So this is we are doing in the case of we just open the application and we don't have any item in our cart items. So we will fetch from the server so that it will fill that list item, and here we will add variation ID, and we will have variation ID, and here we will check with product ID and prd dot variation ID is equal to product dot variation ID. And the update quantity also we will pass here optional type of variation ID is equal to 0, and here in the condition we will pass here prd dot variation ID is equal to variation ID, and here also we will pass variation ID p dot variation ID. So now the changes in the cart provide is already done. So now we will do some modification of our UI part also. Before that we will do some modification of our product.dart file also, that model file class, and here we will add variable product. The constructor also will pass this dot variable product. Again we will modify our widget underscore product underscore detail, and here in the line number 92 after that we will add one more line, that is this dot data dot variable product is equal to value, and here in the variable product of that model of product we are passing that value of that drop down. So in the add to cart we will modify that function also to include that variation ID. So here we will pass cart product dot variation ID is equal to, and here we will check if data dot variable product not of null, then we will pass here data dot variable product dot ID, else we will pass here 0. So in the widget cart product we will update and add on that variation ID also, and in the update quantity we will pass one more variable, that is variation ID. For that we will pass here variation ID, and we will pick from data dot variation ID. So now we will see in the application the implementation of that variable products and all. So here if you see, if I click on the 500 gram, now I increase the quantity 1 and I click to add to cart. So here the data has been added to the cart of that variable product. Here you can see that first product of attribute of 500 gram is added to the cart. Now again we will add another product. So here if I click on the 200 gram, I increase the quantity to 1. Now I click on add to cart. Here you can see the second product also added to the cart. So that's all in this video. I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. It will motivate me to do more and more video on the series. In the next video we will cover that checkout functionality and all. Thank you all.